If you're planning on drinking a lot of whiskey, it's a good idea to have some food on hand. But what food should you have?
Yeah, we get this question a lot, Susanna. What food goes with whiskey? And the truth is, lots of food goes with lots of whiskey, but not every food goes with every whiskey.
So today, we are gonna try out a bunch of different foods with 3 different whiskeys, a bourbon, a rye, and a barrel-proof bourbon, to see which combinations make the most sense.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, Susanna, we've tasted some whiskey, we've tasted some food. One thing that I found is that like flavors really paired well with other like flavors. For example, this bourbon I found went really well with the peanuts and the caramel corn.
I found the same thing was true of the rye. It's got spice, natural spice, went super well with those spicy wasabi peas. But one thing I noticed that was a little opposite of like goes with like is that contrasting flavors often worked really well together. They were harder to find. I had to eat a little more food, drink a little more whiskey. But what I discovered was that, for example, bourbon is inherently very sweet, but savory flavors worked well. Those sour cream and onion chips were a surprising pairing for, you know, the sweetness of this bourbon.
Yeah, I found the same thing with the barbecue chips and the rye, where that sweetness of the barbecue flavor helped to really highlight and bring out that spiciness of the rye.
The one thing I had trouble with for a minute was this barrel-proof bourbon, because when I first sipped it, the alcohol heat was really numbing to my palate and made it hard to actually taste the food. And so often I will actually, if I'm having it with food, add some ice, add some water, do something to bring the alcohol down just a little. The intensity of the flavors is still there. And I found that intense food flavors also worked well. So this beef jerky, hard to pair with other whiskeys, it's very pungent, worked super well with this barrel-proof bourbon.
Yeah, for me, it was the heft and the saltiness of the pretzels that really helped to cut through some of that proof. I find that maybe denser foods work with denser whiskeys.
Were there any universal pairings on the table, anything? I found a couple things that worked super well across the board. Did you find any?
Yeah, for me, it was the cheese straws all the way at the end. You know, I think cheese is a logical first step for people when they start thinking about whether they're pairing wine, whether they're pairing spirits. You know, cheese can be sweet, it can be salty, it can be soft, it can be hard. Cheese can be very versatile in that way, and I found that the cheese straws really paired well with all 3 of these whiskeys.
I love that that was what you found. I was a little more basic. The crackers went great with everything. There's grain in the crackers, there's grain in the whiskey. I always have crackers at my whiskey tastings. They're good as a palate cleanser. They're also good to nibble on if you need to just like have, you know, something to line your stomach while you're drinking a lot. And the chocolate. Chocolate, I have never found a whiskey that didn't go great with dark chocolate. There's just something about the richness of chocolate that pairs super well with any whiskey, whether it's bourbon, whether it's rye, whether it's any other style.
I think for me, when I'm doing tastings at home, I like to combine some of these flavors. So take that chocolate, combine it with the nuts, serve some chocolate-covered nuts, some chocolate-covered pretzels even.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Next time I'm gonna try that. Do a little combination and see how where the tasting takes us. One thing I would like to do from now on, forever, is having food at all of our tastings in the future. Can we agree to that?
I think I can drink to that.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.